So all this that I'm going to do is actually going to make all of these plants healthier. They're going to be better off with this work. This is terrible for plants. This state of things is terrible.
Forget about sustainability. You want to enrich ecosystems.
Every being is equipped to live a positive, energetic balance.
Keep it pruned.
We are cultivating abundance.
Not a problem to cut down trees. The problem is not planting them.
What is up, YouTube? Welcome to the Agroforestry Academy channel. Today, I'm going to talk to you about managing nearby vegetation. So whenever you're implementing a plot anywhere, you're going to have the plot that you're planting, and there's going to be vegetation nearby most of the times. This vegetation could be just grass, or it could be like a small forest or bushes or any of that sort. Either way, it's always important to keep a buffer area on the outskirts of your system, right? So this buffer area is going to be an area of natural vegetations that you will be managing. So you're not going to simply left it alone to be. You're going to manage it because it has an impact in your field and because it's a potential producer of organic matter for your field. So let's take a look. I've got this field here right behind me, right? It's my agroforestry with bananas, pineapples, castor beans, and lots of other trees. And right back here, I've got the natural vegetation of the place. And I do say natural vegetation because it's what's grown spontaneously, but it is not the original vegetation of this place. The original vegetation of this place is high deciduous forest with trees that grow up to 40 meters tall. And you can see that this is not what we have here. This vegetation has been beat up quite a lot. It's been through fire and it's been cut back several times, as you can attest by the clumpy growth of the trees. So you can see that all the trees, they grow in clusters, right? They're clumped together, lots of stems sprouting from the same place. This is the clear sign that this vegetation has been beat up. The trees are not healthy at all, right? They have small leaves and a large wood to leaf ratio, meaning that it's got too much wood and too little leaves. Ideally, you want that to be as little as possible. You want the tree to have as much leaves as it can per the amount of wood that it has. So I talked about this in a previous video, in the 3 mistakes that people make in agroforestry systems. There's a card here or somewhere for that video. If you haven't watched it yet, do watch it. It's a pretty good video. And one of these mistakes is not managing nearby vegetation. In my case, this vegetation here is on the north of my plot, right? This is the north of my plot. Being in the southern hemisphere, because the little country I come from, Brazil, is in the southern hemisphere, most of it at least. And what happens is that the sun during winter comes from the north, right? Because the sun during winter, it goes down a bit. During summer, it comes like straight up 90 degrees angle in relation to the surface of the earth. But then during winter, it drops a bit and it comes from the north. And so this vegetation that is on the north edge of my plot casts a long shadow into my plot, which is pretty bad. If this vegetation was on the south, it wouldn't be so bad. So if you are in the northern hemisphere, the most important edge for you to manage is the southern edge. And for all of us who are on the southern hemisphere, the most important edge is the northern edge. So what do you do with this vegetation? Basically, you keep it pruned. Simple, isn't it? I'm going to treat this vegetation with as much care as I can in order to make the job easier and faster. I'm not going to worry about the stratification of these plants, or at least most of the plants, because I just want them to be resprouting and not casting a shadow in my plot. I just want them to be producing organic matter for me all the time. So I'm going to do just a blunt prune in all of the trees, and all the herbaceous vegetation, bushes, and all that. I'm just going to be cutting them back all the time. If you had grass here, then it's just a matter of cutting it every 30 days or so. This vegetation will, in my case, because I'm talking about trees, I'm probably going to need to prune them twice a year or so. So let's get right to it. Just take a good look, because probably in a few weeks I'm going to make another video about how it's developing. So what I'm going to do with these clumpy trees is rather simple. I don't want, let me get a decent view here. Changing the camera. There you go. The fact is that I do not want this clumpy vegetation, right? Because that's just going to make it harder for me. If I have to prune 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trees, but they're actually the same plant, it's just going to make my job so much harder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select one, only one of all of these. The other ones, I'm just going to take them out as close as I can to the bottom, to the soil. So how am I going to choose one? I'm just going to choose one that is straighter. So this is the one. This is the one that will stay. All the other ones, they are going to go. And like I said, I'm going to cut it very close to the base. Now, I don't have a chainsaw here, so these ones that are a bit thicker, I am just going to take them down with my pruning saw. And when I have the chainsaw, I'm gonna come back and cut the stump, because I don't want them to be resprouting too much. And the more, the taller the stump I leave, the more it's going to resprout. So I'm just gonna take it out, and I'll come later with my, this might fall on the mobile. I don't want that. Okay, I managed to save the mobile. Still, it wants to fall right on top of it. Okay. Okay, so now there's a stump. This one is part of the same stump, so I'm gonna get it out. Right. So when I have my chainsaw, I'm just gonna come here and cut, do a clean, level cut close to the soil. Same thing here. Just gonna cut it. and these thin ones as well. All right. These other ones I can just do it with the pruning scissors. Okay. So I left the chosen one. What will I do with the chosen one? I'm going to prune it at chest high. So I'm just going to do a clean cut here. I'm going to be a lot more careful with the cut than I was in the ones that will be eliminated, because like I told you, these will be eliminated on the base of the trunk. So they're not resprouting. I don't care if the wood is split or if it was damaged like this. But this one, I want it to be alive and healthy. So I will take all the necessary precautions in order to avoid damaging the wood, and also to avoid damaging my irrigation. This can stay here, but I'm not going to prune it on top of it like I've showed you in other videos. Again, putting a card here for videos about pruning trees, because I'm not maintaining this tree in its strata, in its layer. This is a comboita. This is a high strata plant in these natural from these places, but all of the vegetation here is going to be pruned chest high, so it's not going to be competing with other plants for space. So I can just allow it to be in chest high because it's the easiest height for me to prune, and it will resprout. It's going to be producing thin branches all year long, and I'm going to be able to prune these branches and all that. Once I decide to advance my system to this place, then I'm going to allow some of these trees to grow to their strata, and then I will select just one main stem and allow it to reach there. But for now, I just want it to be resprouting here closer to the soil. So chest level, I want to do a like a bevel cut. Is that how you call it? Like a cut on the diagonal. I don't want to do it level in order not to accumulate too much moisture on the cut to avoid rotting. So I need to look where the tree is leaning to. So this tree leans towards that direction. So I'm gonna do a cut here. First thing, you can see that the saw is a bit inclined. So I'm gonna cut until I'm unable to cut anymore due to the weight of the tree snapping my saw, like pinching my saw. Right now it's getting harder to cut because it's already pinching. Right, so now I'm gonna do the uppercut. And there you go. This is a pretty clean cut. Let me show it to you. There you go. This is a pretty decent cut. It did the trunk almost split here, but this is very superficial. It's on the very surface, it's on the bark actually, and a bit of the phloem. but this won't be too much of a problem. The tree will heal. So this is pretty decent. It's a pretty decent cut. If the tree is leaning way too much towards a direction, which might make it impossible for you to do a clean cut, because you can't do this undercut because the pressure will be too high. What you can do is you prune it. There's something on my beard. You prune it above the level that you actually want to prune it. So you can prune it above the level so that the tree will split. It will damage the wood. But you're going to take all the weight out, and then you can do another pruning. So let me show you how to do that. This is a good technique. It's important to master. So let's do it with the other one. Let's change the camera again. There you go. For example, this one here, this is leaning way too much. Although this is a plant, a tree that I might decide to eliminate completely, I'll probably leave this one and this one and then this one that I just told you. And all these other here, the thinner ones, I'm just going to take them out. And so let's take a look on how to do it. So I want the trunk to be chest high, right? So this is it. I want the cut to be here. First thing, I'm going to do a cut over here just to eliminate most of the weight of the plant, of the canopy of the tree. I don't want it to damage my banana plant. So there you go. So now that there's no weight whatsoever pressuring it, I can just come here and do a clean cut. There you go. This is even better than the last one because I took the weight off. Right, this is perfect, okay? Smooth, clean cut. However, as I got here, I realized that this one is healthier than this one. You can see that this one was already a bit attacked by termites, and this one hasn't. So I'm probably going to leave this one and this one in this clump of trees. So let's do those. I want to give you a bit of a sight of what this little spot's going to look like. So this one will probably want to fall on the mobile, but I think I can make it fall that way. Let's try it at least. This one will be the same case as this one is leaning way too much. So I'm gonna do first a cut above the final cut in order to reduce the weight. And now the chest height cut. Okay, now it's all good. So this will stay, this will stay, that will stay. All this undergrowth will be taken out. Let's clean it up a bit here. So all of this that's growing here will be eliminated. This one is a different species, and it is a low to medium strata plant. So I can definitely allow it to be here with the Camboata. It grows slower. It responds prolifically. Is that a word? To pruning, and so it's all good. This one comes out. This one comes out. This one comes out. This comes out. All of this growth comes out. I'm going to concentrate the growth on the trunks that I left. So, and again, all of these will be taken out with a chainsaw later on. Right? This will be left, this will be left, this will be left. All the rest, I'm going to come with the chainsaw and just cut them very close to the base. So, this is something I want to show you, right? This is a perfect clean cut. This is a perfect clean cut. Isn't it beautiful? Check it out. It's just amazing. It's unbelievably beautiful. A lot better than lots of works of art. So this is a decent cut. It's not perfect because there's a fracture line here, which when you are felling trees, it's important. This fracture line. So you do the front cut, and then you do the back cut, and you leave a thin layer of wood, which is the fracture line, and this wood should break when you're felling a tree. But this is not the case. This is a thin tree that I'm allowing to resprout, so I want to have the cut as clean as possible. But this is not specifically a problem because it's a negative difference of level. What I mean is that this part is, the water is going to run down here and it's going to fall off, so that's not a problem. But now let's compare it with this one. In this one I made a mistake because the uppercut actually ended up being lower than the undercut. So the water is going to fall here, it's going to slide down, and it's going to meet this barrier, and this is going to be a place for accumulation of moisture. This is something I do not want, so what I do in this situation is I have to fix the problem with my saw. Remember, I really don't want these plants to die. And not only I don't want them to die, I want them to produce as much organic matter as they can. So I'm doing all I can to make them healthy and to maintain them healthy. And all of this that I'm doing is to benefit the health of the plant and of my system, of course. But some people have a problem with this. They think we're killing the plant, and I'm taking away all the canopy. This is doctor's work. When you have a person sick beyond repair, you don't complain to the doctor that the doctor's gonna, put it, use some medicine or any of that sort. Or sometimes you need to do a surgery. And plants are just a lot more resilient than we are. I mean, I'd love to be able to just prune my arm off and grow a new one. Plants can do that. So all this that I'm going to do is actually going to make all of these plants healthier. They're going to be better off with this work. This is terrible for plants. This state of things is terrible. And this vegetation has been like this for over 10 years. It doesn't change because it's been so degraded that it lacks the resources to improve by itself. It would take hundreds of years for it to recover. So all of this that we're doing actually has a positive impact on the vegetation. And we're going to produce food from it. Look at all the organic matter that I can put in my system now, that my system lacks organic matter in some spots. And I'm going to be able to use this. It's nearby resources. Just think it like this. If I leave the vegetation the way it is, it's bad for the vegetation. So if I prune it, I get organic matter for my plot, and I'm improving the vegetation. I'm allowing it to be healthier. I'm allowing plants to produce more, to do more photosynthesis. It's better for everybody. This is important, all right? Food production, well done, is better for the environment than if the environment was left on its own. We can produce forests that actually beat the hell out of the natural vegetation that we have around. Look, if the forests hadn't been touched ever, and I don't think this exists in the world, maybe some very specific places, but I'd say that in over 90% of the earth, the original forests have been messed by man. So we don't have the original ecosystems anymore. So what we have, if we work properly, doing this, doing agroforestry, increasing photosynthesis rate, putting more plants per hectare, using species intelligently, pruning, we're going to make healthier systems than if we leave the systems to their own. So this is a shift of mindset that we as a species have to make, which is that separation between human activities and nature. There is no such separation. We're in it together. We need to understand the laws that nature gives us and apply to our systems and become simply an element, one more element of the system. Not the owner, not the master, just a worker. An important worker, right? But a worker nonetheless. And yes, we can produce food from it. Yes, we can produce riches from it. We can sell stuff. We can do everything and improve the ecosystem. That's the beauty of it. So without further ado, let's wrap this up because we're hitting the 30 minutes mark. That might be a bit too much. If you haven't yet, subscribe to our channel. Help spread out the word. Tell your friends about it. If you're new to our channel, we have a full agroforestry course. You can watch it here. I'm putting a card for the first episode of the course. It's 25 lessons. It's really good. Just take it's like 5-6 hours of course, and you're going to get acquainted with all the concepts that we use of stratification, succession of species, pruning, building companion planting schemes, and everything. And do that. If you want to take a step further and support us, here's a link to our Patreon account. In our Patreon account, the members, people who support us there, they get access to some extra material to complement your learning from each video. So make sure you check it out and support us if you wish, as it will go a long way in order to help us continue making all these free videos of agroforestry training. So I'm Felipe. Thank you for watching, and I'm signing out.